Did I? I
Yeah,
think everyone. I think everyone gave it an 8 nearly. Oh
no,
wait, yeah.
for impact.
I felt there were okay, mainly because I
It
didn't.
raised awareness around dogfighting in Mexico, and you only gave it an 8.
Yeah, but it took me how long to actually even hear about this film is the point, right? It's like, ah, I have no idea where this film came from until Emmanuel picked it. I was like, oh, I watched the film, then I found out about the impact. So it's like, I mean, it's like it impacted me not as much, I guess. I don't know. Uh,
And rude.
then,
Right,
oh,
before we lose him, Emmanuel, why'd you pick this film?
Rob's not even here yet.
Ah, well, I feel like he's here in spirit because he turned the live stream on.
is he? Oh yeah, he has, isn't he? Oh,
Rob is the master of spirit.
Yeah, what's happening, Rob?
he's.
On the toilet.
I mean, I was going to say it's so hot. He might have just went to get an ice cream. To be honest. Yeah,
Oh, there he goes.
oh,
Hello.
hey,
It is obscenely hot. I'm exhausted, but I'm here.
Uh,
you got a pub.
Nice, my mum's front room.
Okay. Why do you? Oh wait, no, that's where the jukebox. Yeah, of course. Yeah, right. The jukebox. Right. There's a.
My mum's prized possession, and my mum's other prized possession is on the floor.
Oh, and it's not Rob. It's
Yes. Okay. All right, but yeah, Manuel. Why did you pick the film?
It's good.
um, um, I came across it while looking for something else.
Best
it-
film.
I think was it my last pick? What did I pick last? Drive my car. Yeah, I don't know how I came across that when I was looking for Drive My Car. Whatever. Came across it, watched the trailer. I was just like, and then I saw the awards it got, and I was just like, oh, so it's like it might actually be an interesting film. And that's why I picked it. I thought it'd be cool to watch. I think is it our first Mexican, like a film set in Mexico?
No, we've had a couple of Mexican films.
Oh, cool. I can't remember them at this point. But anyway, but yeah, thought it'd be cool. Yeah, that's it. I didn't expect it to be the way it was at Dogs. I mean, the trailer doesn't say, obviously, it only gives a tiny bit. But
You
yeah,
know what? I was so like scared going into it because all I've heard about it is like how brutal it is with dog fighting and like how many dogs die and like all of this kind of stuff. And I was like, man, I'm gonna find this really tough. And then when I started watching it and like the first dog fight happens, I was like, oh, that's all right. They're playing. Like that's okay. I can get along with that. But like I built it up in my mind that they were actually going to be fighting one another.
I thought they did very well with that. Like, obviously they had that with the like the sounds and everything. So
Yeah,
it was
like liberal usage of shaky cam.
yeah,
Okay,
it was,
yeah,
but it's just the right mix. It wasn't like over the top where it's just like, what are you doing? It was more like decent, respectful enough of, yes, this is not really this, but we're passing it off as this. And yeah, we're not trying to do any special effects or anything. It's just what it is.
I like
I
the idea
mean-
that Rob's watching like the dogs like performing and that, and then they kind of stop and go.
Because that was another thing. Because like Pat was like, "Oh, Alejandro Inarritu must really hate dogs," and I was like, "Please don't tell me that. I really like him. I don't want him to think. I don't want to think of him this way."
Yeah,
Like,
no.
I didn't get that at all.
Yeah,
I mean,
I thought he does.
he had dog fighting. He had someone shoot a dog. He had a dog jump into a hole full of rats. I mean, like,
yeah, that one got me, to be fair.
Yeah, okay, that was
I mean,
that's
when-
no excuse
when
for
the-
that one, right?
when the ball went down the hole and the dog just dived in there, I did laugh, and then as soon as I heard the squeaking, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Mm.
I mean,
I ha-
yeah, the dogs are it's it's just playing with each other on the set, but that's not what I got from the film. Like it was very brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, to be fair, like, I mean, it is brutal, but I think because it was like sort of 25 years old and it was like made in Mexico on like barely any budget. I built up this fear in my mind that it was all going to be real.
I
It
mean,
was. Oh no, go on, man. Go.
you go.
I was gonna say it was actually filmed in Mexico City, and from what I read, it's like because filming in any type of filming in Mexico City is dangerous because the crew and cast nearly got robbed twice. So it's like in
Really?
real life, it's like
It, it wasn't even nearly. They actually they filmed the
They
bad
were.
neighborhoods of Mexico City, and they got robbed multiple times. I was
oh, they
like,
actually got robbed. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Fuck,
True.
that's way worse. I thought they
Yeah.
almost got robbed. They actually got robbed. Fucking hell.
yeah. So I was just like, I put production up like half a point as well because I was like, nah, respect to this crew. They after getting robbed multiple times, it's still in filming in these bad neighborhoods. Like it's like especially at the time, there's many places that you wouldn't just show up with lots of cameras and kit in Mexico, and they went to the rough neighborhoods to film this stuff to make it more realistic. Just like, man,
I didn't know.
Damn, just damn.
El Robo.
Hey. So I think all right, because I'm going to use my energy first because I might run out afterwards. Quick introduction to the film. I get where everyone said the Quentin Tarantino like inspirations or like like design of the story with each chapter of each characters and stuff work together. I think that was quite nice. I feel like chapter 2 was probably not as exciting as chapter 1 and 3. I think we all agree with that. But chapter 3 ended it quite well with everything at the end. But generally, apart from that, the story is quite good. The imagery of dogfighting was quite gruesome. But I guess that adds to the point of making the story quite good.
mm.
Is it right to say I don't like any of the characters and feel pretty much no sympathy for pretty much any of them except for El Chivo?
Yeah, I agree with that.
That's
Okay.
it.
That's
Okay,
my
yeah.
take.
Okay, that's like
I think that's the film's philosophy as well, because everyone else kind of either mistreats or commodifies a dog, and their whole lives are ruined because of it. Whereas El Chivo really liked those dogs, and he took care of them, and it was like a tragic thing that happened. And because he was sympathetic and took care of his dogs, that's why his life like ends like positively.
yeah, that's semi how I saw it as well. Yeah. So my thought of like everyone else sucks except for the homeless
dog man.
hitman. Yeah, so yeah. Okay, yeah.
The pitman. Yeah. Also known as Alec.
Yep.
Rich.
You're right.
Name in love. That's quite funny.
Okay.
Right, who wants to go next?
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said, Simon. Like, because when I was watching it, because yeah, I mean, I'd heard like a little bit about it, but my kind of like the two sort of like strongest sort of opinions on it, if you like, that I knew of going into it was loads of people online being like, "Man, this is brutal," and then Alec being like, "Oh, this is fantastic." And so for the first like 50 minutes, I was well on board. I was like, "Yeah, man, this is fantastic." And then that story ended, and then the middle one just like I struggled to recover from it because I spent like the first 50 or so minutes going like, yeah, this is fantastic, and then the second 50 minutes going, I could have done without this bit, and then the third 50 minutes I was like, yeah, it's good, but I've lost it now. Like if it was two parts rather than three, I think I'd have really loved this. But the middle one, yeah, like I say, I struggled to recover from it. It really took away my enthusiasm for it.
I think that's the thing. Like when I sent the GIF, I wanted to send you know that bit in Monsters Inc. when Sully's watching like the conveyor belt go, and he's making all the faces, and the one he does, he's like,
Yeah.
that's what I was doing when the when the model like just goes to the green light and like gets smashed. I was just kind of like, no. And I was like, I fucking love this movie. This is so great. This is amazing. And then the second bit started, and I kind of went a bit quiet. I was like, oh. And I still thought it was fine, but like, yeah,
I was kind of trying to reason it with like if we'd made it, well, if somebody here had made a film like it in London, because like it makes sense to have sort of like three defined social classes and to like tell their stories through these characters like that I think is a really good idea, but I think it kind of shows that middle class people aren't very interested.
It's just that.
The only thing that I could find like comparison to, as in like with the car crash, right, was the fucking what's the film that John chose? Fucking Snatch, where they got like the milk carton, got someone throws it out, and the milk carton releases the guy, and the guy afterwards they hit the guy, the other car hits the guy. That's like the only thing I could find like a comparison to it, to like that particular scene. I was like, it worked in that way because it was just like all the characters crossing paths at one point, but it didn't make sense because for this movie, because the chapter 2 was just not that interesting. Where Snatch had interesting characters, like, because like you can say you can all say that which storyline is the, let's say, B storyline, right? Like it's not as important, but like everyone's storyline is quite interesting in its own right because they own have like own problems and fuck ups. But this B storyline was just, oh, she's in the wheelchair.
You very nearly triggered me there. So I was like, you were going to be like, that doesn't make sense. And I was like, you man. Because the second part was really boring. I was like, okay.
It was not as exciting as the first chapter,
So
it didn't have that like epic conclusion as in the third chapter. It was kind of like, it was there. We saw like the imagery there, but it was just like, I don't know, man. It's kind of like, I guess it was needed to fill out like the story out because you see certain characters in like the second chapter afterwards, right? But it was just like it didn't tie up properly and stuff, and it was like the best part.
I was so getting ready to just go like, yeah, of course it makes sense that they like cross paths because like the businessman and the lady he's shagging, yeah, they're part of like the rich world. But they're going to go to the absolute outskirts of town because they don't want to be seen by someone they recognise. And El Chivo's following them, and that's why he's there. And that's why and that's probably like the border for where like the rich area kind of like stops being a thing. And that's why Octavio's driving through it because he's trying to get away. So it's actually quite plausible that these three characters like cross it. But then you didn't say that, so that's fine.
No, yeah. I just found the best part of chapter 2 was the ending. And that's not being. I guess that sounds like I'm being mean.
That is really powerful, though.
But the ending was probably the best part of chapter 2. without making it sound like I'm being an arsehole. No, I'm just saying seriously. That was the best one. But I've been talking, right? Who else? Ben. What
Wait,
was your
how-
interest?
In chapter 2 ends again. I'm trying to remember.
They wheel her in, and then she like wheels herself over to the window, and then she gets stuck in a hole and goes, "Oh shit!" And then she just like falls over and has like, and she's just there. She's just
No,
there to the end of time.
No,
Oh no,
you
sorry.
focus.
I
You focus.
the post has been taken down.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the post has been taken down.
And
I was
it-
desperately waiting for her to get stuck in the hole again. I thought that was going to be hysterical.
that is something, because at first I was thinking she see this is going to be a painful reminder of like every time like what she had, but the fact that they took it away is actually even worse, because it's like, yeah, it's not even relevant anymore. It's just like you weren't there, like you don't exist, and that's even worse than like what she was worried about seeing it. It's I was just like, man, that's bad. But anyway,
But yeah, like Rob said, all the second story seemed to illuminate was that
don't
the middle
don't
class people are really boring.
cheating on your wife and leaving your wife and family for some random model who I didn't even know if she really wanted to stay with him. It seemed like she was using him. I was just like, wait, he's cooking you dinner, and you're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave randomly. I'm like, oh, cook anything. I can't even cook eggs. That sounds worse. I don't.
No, she was going to get champagne. I think it was, wasn't it? Because they were celebrating them being
Yeah.
together finally.
They needed something to toast with.
that is it. True, saying that, but she must have grew up quite wealthy. Say that.
If she can't cook a fucking egg, yeah.
I
That
think that
she-
is a thing for me because like it's kind of the contrast of it because you go from the first story to that and then into the third. And I'm just sat there like, man, people have real problems in this city. And then there's these two.
I also wonder, like, why did she go from some rich family in Spain? I don't know what issues they had, obviously, and run away to Mexico. All places. There's
Okay.
some Spanish
Cool.
places that are like better and closer, but she went to this place. No,
Probably
people don't willingly go there. Like,
Well, I
there's
think
money.
it's
Did
probably
she
because she
have-
was a bitch.
yeah. I was about to say, did she have like family problems at home? Like her father didn't want to talk to her and all that shit, right? There was the whole situation is like, don't tell my dad. He will say you deserved it.
Would
right?
you have the
And
same
there was-
feelings if she wanted to commute to Mexico?
No, I get what Emmanuel's saying, to be fair, because it's like one of us moving to Detroit, and it's like there's so many like other places that don't have the problems that Detroit has.
Wow, fucking wow! Did you just say that?
That's
Fucking
right.
hell! You got upset. A lot of people were saying that, right? Fucking hell.
Makes me wonder. Yeah, like you said, she had some family problems. I'm not trying to play that down. Obviously, we know no reason why they were. They could have been some really messed up stuff. But yeah, there were many other places, and she picked one of the roughest places, Spanish-speaking places to go to. I'm just like, you. Even though yes, what happened to her wasn't necessarily anything to do with crime. I still. She went to somewhere that was ridden with crime.
All I do is just like, fuck you, Dad. I'm gonna go live in Baghdad.
I'm just like, you could have gone to many other places that speak that language or close. You had to go here. Okay. Anyway.
Right. Two more people need to open in statements.
Right, good.
Oh,
No,
it's been a wee while, isn't it?
it hasn't indeed been a while, so I was relapsing there. Aside that aside, I saw this film like probably 15 years ago, like ages ago, like around when I was about to start uni, just because I recommended it by a teacher to see. And I was like, okay, I can check it out. And obviously, I wasn't really familiar with a lot of foreign language films as I am now, and it's one of the first of this kind that I did see, and it's obviously the first. How do you say his name? In a
Alejandro Inarritu.
Alexandre and also films. But
Good
it kind of
try. A for effort.
it put him on the map for me, and I could obviously see the comparisons of this and Pulp Fiction for the sense of it being like multiple stories interconnecting, and and a lot of films that have done the same sort of thing I've always really enjoyed, quite been like enthralled to see how they kind of interconnect, and I feel this did a very good job in that regard. And one of the strengths in this film, aside from the fact it's really quite brutal and horrible to watch, it's still very captivating. But how like just like the smallest like decision will affect the most unlikely outcome, if that makes sense. So like for someone doing this or that here would affect someone else in a completely different part of the city. It just by chance, it just like all these little things all sort of collide in like a spectacular fashion for how even if it's something insignificant for the protagonist of that story, it's still like the most significant thing in the protagonist of the other story. So I appreciate the writing in that regard. And like I mentioned before, and like we've all mentioned already, like the first story is probably the most intricate and most interesting. And the second is easily the weakest because it just like the characters aren't as compelling, or the story itself is just like not like very enthralling at all. But like the third has the most interesting character in it. Forgive me for not remembering his name, but
El Chivo.
yes, him. I think, like Alex says, he's the only one that appreciates and respects and loves the dogs as much as anyone it does love and respect dogs. Everyone else just like uses them as a commodity or like a means to an end, or it's just like they're just kind of like objects, and they're just like not part of a family or thing. But he will always, in comparison to them, is the one that like loves them and has the deep connection and treats them with the respect that we deserve. And I think that's important to have his story last, because you go through this film, but these people just hate dogs and everything that they stand for. And like Pat, you get if you stopped at the second half of the story, you'd just be like, yeah, this film was just like anti-dogs and there's nothing to it in that. But the third part is so important for the reason that his character is kind of like, look, these are living creatures. We need to give them respect they deserve, and you can't blame them for what they do, because of how they are is how man makes them to be, if that makes sense. It's only because of the nurture, not nature, makes them what they are. And so it's like, just treat them as you would any other person, and they'll just be like the most wonderful, lovable creatures you can think of. But if they're reared and brought up wrong, that's why they're horrible, violent, and vicious creatures. So yeah, that part I did appreciate the most. Even if I didn't enjoy the film very much, it's like those stories are very important. Each one is important as each other. Obviously, the first and the second, and first and the third are the most important. But as a whole, it's a
Yeah, if
very
it's just been a
interesting-
two-parter,
Yeah.
that'd have been
Yeah.
fun.
But as a whole, it is a great film. It is a very good film, and yeah, it's not one that I'd rush to see again. And it's been a long time since I saw it the first time, so it's been a long time since I'll probably see it again after this. So we'll see. But yeah, I did appreciate you picking this away, because it's a very interesting topic of discussion.
Man and
Thanks, man.
Beast.
Mm.
But it's funny you said that, because Man and Beast is like talking about people and dinosaurs, and Emmanuel is doing his Jeff Goldblum impression in Jurassic Park, where he doesn't have a shirt on and he's just like lying down. I was like, what the fuck are you doing, man? I mean, like, I was, yeah, it's hot. That makes sense. Yeah, but I was just like,
Yes, hi.
you're just fussing of your camera. I was just looking at you like, oh, you. Okay, yeah, sorry. Pat,
What a segue that was.
Pat, do you?
You just said Man and Beast. Speaking of Man and Beast, we're going to talk about Jeff Goldblum now.
How did you get on with this film, Pat?
Not very well.
Okay, fair enough.
All the stuff that you sort of touched on, I sort because of the sort of graphic nature of the first part, I switched off. Like don't get me wrong, I watched the whole thing and I thought the film sort of ended a lot better than it started. And I get that they had to show it for the reason of storytelling, but I just found it too difficult to watch and sort of stay engaged in what story he was telling. There was large chunks that you were talking about that I actually didn't even remember, and until you said it. Yeah, I didn't enjoy the film at all. But I get what they were trying to do. I thought it was segmented quite well. I didn't think much of it.
Would you say that
Oh,
while
sorry,
you're
Pat.
watching it?
What was that?
Oh, just said sorry, Pat. Sorry, carry on, Simon.
Oh no, I was going to say while you're watching it, you just kind of switch off your brain because you want to, what's the word? Disassociate like that feeling because it seemed too graphic for you, or is it like or is it just like a thing of like, it's just a bit squeamish for you?
Well, I was like, this is just such a horrible film.
Oh, okay, so you disassociate because you want to go, oh, this is just too graphic. Okay, cool.
I was like, what's going on here? You've got like seven. It's not just one dogfighting scene. Like if it was like one or two, I could understand, but there was quite a few, and like I know that it wasn't real and it's not real blood and all this and that, but when I sit down and watch a film, I forget about the reality sort of aspect of it. I sort of in the film with them watching, and for me, it was a bit over the top. And then they shot the dog. Then obviously one jumped into a hole. And then that dog that got shot, that got better, ended up being left with a load of other dogs while the old man left. And then he comes back and they've all been butchered.
Yeah, that was so sad.
And the thing is, when he left, I said to myself, I bet all these dogs are dead when he comes back.
Yeah,
Because that's the harsh reality of dogfighting. Like you got dickheads raising dogs to make the money being really violent. Like this is why Michael Vick did prison time. It's just horrible to see. Like, and I wouldn't exactly say I'm the biggest dog person around. Like, I like dogs, but I don't think I'd be one to want to own one because like anyone that like you guys know that I don't look after myself that well, so let alone another animal. So it's like.
But have you considered the additional income that you could get from dogfighting?
No.
Oh man.
No. For me, those that would even consider it don't have a moral compass.
Yeah.
And you sort of you kind of want to disassociate yourself with them. Like I brought up the Michael Vick thing because he's like was a famous NFL player and he did prison time and got suspended from the league for it. And I thought what he did was despicable, but I think the work he did after he sort of realised a bit too late. And and sort of atoned, but I don't think you can quite atone enough for full forgiveness for something like that. I think it's like going into a nursery and beheading a child. Level bad.
Uh, okay. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to. I don't. No, I don't have no answer to. I was gonna make a joke about cockfighting, but like I can't think of the joke now. Okay, never mind. Okay, okay. Oof, you that hit the head harder than I expected. Okay.
That's what she said.
This is this is like 2 out of 3 weeks where we've had the film where I'm like, nah, this is not it. Obviously a couple weeks ago you had a film that was well made, but I hated the theme. This one is relatively well made, but I just hate everything about it.
Okay.
I'm just glad that the director made better stuff, or stuff that's stuff that's not quite on that level of the gross.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, he's actually. Fucking hell, it's too hot, man. What I can't remember. What else did he make?
Birdman, The Revenant.
Yeah, fucking yes.
Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths, which is a brilliant film.
Babel, 21 grams.
No, I was thinking of Birdman because you guys did Birdman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Birdman is without a shadow of a doubt his best film.
No, I think Bardo is.
I haven't seen Bardo yet, to be fair.
Yeah, I was about to say. I don't think I remember watching it. I don't remember watching it so probably. But Birdman's pretty fucking top quality. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah.
But I also
Oh wait, the
get.
same director make Birdman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, that's great.
I mean, I get that showing this sort of raised awareness for dogfighting, but that could have worked. Well, yeah, I suppose I struggle to sort of put my finger on it because it's like, yeah, it's great that it raised awareness for it, but I wish there was another way of sort of portraying it, because I felt like there could have been a good film in there, but I just wasn't big on it at all.
Well, not to like argue with you, Pat, but like to be fair, there's the only way you could really show like the horrible graphicness of dogfighting is to show. Well, I mean, like dogfighting, which is like I'm not you get what I mean.
That's fine. Show one really graphic dogfighting scene, I'm fine with that. But showing 4 or 5 really equally graphic depictions of dogfighting, I felt like was far too much.
I think you know what it is. I think it's seeing the dead dogs afterwards with like their tongue sticking out. I was like, all right, yeah, this is dated, right? Because like they've been given like treats with like some like sleeping powder or whatever they have it, and they're just asleep. But just seeing the dogs just be covered with blood, it was like, ugh, that's
the only positive I could take from it is I'm glad that everyone that owned the dog that was dogfighting died.
Apart from the main guy, he didn't.
Yeah, I was about to say the main like.
The runner.
Yeah.
Oh well, yeah, but he'll get his comeuppance in a sequel.
Yeah, he didn't exactly have a happy ending. He was so annoying. I was so annoyed at that guy.
That's the guy who voices the granddad in Coco.
Oh, cool.
In what?
Coco.
Oh,
really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least he done better for himself.
Oh man. Yeah, I didn't realize that he produced The Revenant. He was a producer on Birdman, but that's why I was confused. I was just like, I don't remember him being the director, but he was a producer.
Director of Birdman.
Was he?
Yeah.
Do you know what they needed? They needed that
the
ringleader dog guy to be the one that got shot in like the bank, then that would have made the story a bit more full circle. I feel like then it would have been a bit more complete. Then that would have been better instead of just seeing the police officer there, because the police officer was not right at the beginning of chapter 3. Who's the brother? Ramiro?
Ramiro.
Is it okay? Ramiro, he tried to rob a bank, and afterwards, he got shot because the person that he was trying to rob was like the corrupt police officer. And it was like, but if it was like the dogfighting guy, instead of getting shot as well, I feel like the story would have been a bit more complete.
Contrived.
Yes, more. No, it's complete. It's just more. It's like, right, yeah, it has a slightly more rounder edge. It could be. You could say it could be contrived, but it felt like. I mean, it's all sort of coincidental anyway for that point. But it's like, yeah, it felt more buffed out, if you know what I mean. But that'd be. But I mean, it's fine. As Pat says, he'll probably get his comeuppance eventually.
I wanted to ask, Rob.
I always get it mixed up.
Sorry. Can you, as a short aside, explain kind of what Bardo is? Because I was looking up his stuff. It's like it didn't get as good ratings, but as Birdman. I'm just like, huh? But if you said it's so great, it's like it must be good, but I wonder why some people are rating it not as well. But yeah, carry on.
So I think the reason for a lot of the bad ratings were it debuted at a lot of film festivals. And by the time I saw it, so I saw it at London Film Festival last year, but it had already debuted at like Toronto and like a bunch of American ones. And the critical reception from those was like really, really bad. And then I saw it and I was like, no, that was a brilliant film. Like I don't know what people are talking about. And it turned out that after the reception at a few festivals, Alejandro Inarritu went back and edited some of it out. So it went from a film that was like over 3 hours long to one that was about 2.5 hours long. And I think what was probably like causing the bad reception before was people saying that it dragged on and like there was loads of bits that were irrelevant and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, the version that I saw wasn't the version that was getting like critically panned. And then since he edited it, the reception became like a little bit better. But even without all that stuff, like it's quite a difficult film to. So it's very like deliberately not accessible, because it's all about kind of like so when I saw it, he came out and did like an introduction, and he was saying like, don't go into this expecting it to make sense and expecting to sort of have like a usual film experience. Like it's very like you kind of got to forget what reality is, and you've just got to like trust the film and go along with it. And obviously, like that's something that not everyone can do, right? And
Alec.
I see.
it's just like it's very much like it's a film that sort of tries to like replicate the feeling of being in a dream, and obviously that doesn't work for a lot of people.
Oh no!
No, like the feeling of being in a dream, not just a film telling you you're in a dream.
So the whole film was a fever dream, basically.
Okay.
It's a brilliant film. I really love it.
I get how that might be hard for a lot of film goers for a whole film rather than just like some short film. Or like
I'm gonna pick it soon. Like at some point very soon, I'm gonna pick it.
Oh man, I was gonna say, is it in some way kind of, even though they're very different films, kind of like how Drive My Car is not necessarily a like easy accessible film. It makes you work to kind of understand it fully and like watch it.
Yeah, it's very much that. So when I first watched Bardo, so it's about 2.5 hours long still, and I reckon I spent probably like 2 hours and 15 minutes going, what is going on? And then in the last 15 minutes, I was like, oh, okay. but you kind of you've got to like stay plugged in for that 2 hours and 15 minutes for the last 15 minutes to mean anything.
Man, you're not selling this, but you
Oh
are
no, man, it's
explaining it
brilliant.
very well.
If you're willing to like, if you're willing to sort of go along with it, you'll have a great time.
Cool, thanks.
Strike one.
What?
I didn't even realise Pat and Ben had left during that.
No, I'm still here.
No, he's just blurred out. Sorry.
That was a
Just-
proper
just-
when I-
Muppet intro. That was
When
still
I'm not talking, generally I'll just do this.
Good.
But I'm still here.
You're
I
like
think
some
you-
kind of magic.
I'm not
Pat.
convinced that you and Ben aren't the same person after you just did that.
Okay, then.
Pat just has the invisibility cloak on. It's okay.
Mhm.
Oh man.
So,
Yeah. Carry on.
did you guys? Oh, I mean, I'm not sure about Rob because he described it in the messages, but when Ochiba killed the first guy in the hibachi place and the blood hit like the hot plate, I fucking laughed. Right? I don't know. I laughed. Okay, I don't know. You said it was gross, but I found it fucking hilarious because of the way that the blood actually boiled and how fucking found it hilarious. I don't know why.
I know,
But
I know I'm
not sure about
jumping the
everyone
gun.
else.
I'm jumping the
That's-
gun, but that's my favourite thing. I thought that was
It's
such a good idea.
It's
'Cause
so
that-
fucking hilarious.
That grossed me out in the same way that Evil Dead does. Because I was kind of like, on one hand, I was going, "Oh my god, I feel sick," and then on the other, I was going, "That is such a good idea." That's such a like that's such an easy way to like gross someone out. And it's like I don't know. I thought it was brilliant, and yeah, I next time we go to Steak and Go, that's the only thing that's going to be going through my head.
I need to take you to a fucking. We need to go to like a fucking teppanyaki place. Just get some like ketchup and just go. Hey Rob, what does this remind you of?
Oh man,
I think there will be another thing going through your head when we go to Steak and Co because it will be how fucking much.
Oh yeah, fucking hell.
That too.
It's making me like pay this much to cook my own steak.
You're making me
Yeah.
pay this much to relive a scene from Amores Perros. What's that? Don't worry about
Oh,
it.
Can't, it's one of the I feel like it's one of the few scenes because I remember you mentioned it. I forgot how it actually happened. Like, can someone explain how it happened so I can remember it properly?
All right, because Elchiva has his target from like beforehand. He's got his picture, and afterwards he's like walking
That-
with his.
Yes, thank you. I remember it all now. Yeah,
Okay.
that was
Good job,
that
Sam.
was great. Hey, it was just to kind of like place it in the film. I think because it was so early on, and I was just like, oh, I wasn't expecting this like right now. It's just like, wait, he's just gonna shoot. Is it revenge? Obviously, we know he was being a hitman. I like afterwards.
Here
It was
I
just
go
like-
being a hitman again.
It's just like it felt like a
Oh.
classic kind of like, oh, I'm getting revenge. Huh? Oh, what, Pat?
No, don't worry. I'm talking to myself. Sorry.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it felt like he was just like, okay, I've been homeless for this long. This guy who ruined my life or messed with my family. You know what? I'm gonna shoot him and then run away. Because he wasn't even like some proper hitman or anything. He's just like.
I kind of want to write something now where you're an assassin, but you just say the internal monologue out loud, and you're like, "This guy, my family." Right, that's it. Bang! He's like, run! Ah! That would have been the best.
Yeah, that was cool. That was good. That was effective. Yes.
I was just locked in like so early on, like just having the thing where you see the little the blonde goblin person, and he wins his fight, and like you can see that his dog, I think it's Pancho. Like he's such like a vicious little dog, and it's like, oh fuck, oh no, oh god, and they're like get him out into the street, and he's like covered in blood, but he's still like going for it, and they're just like, oh hey, we'll just kill one of these dogs, and then they walk toward,
Yeah.
and then El Chivo comes out with the machete, and he's just like, come on then, it's just like, oh,
Yeah.
oh, that's so good,
Yeah,
then-
but
then
maybe not.
but then you see the dog we've just seen Susanna let out, and it's Kofi, and you're like, oh fuck, oh man, not oh my god, and you obviously like you don't know anything about this, so you kind of going like, fuck, sorry Kofi, like bad luck, I guess. And then like, literally just knock on the door. It's his mate. He's like,
Hmm.
hey, Kofi killed Goblin Man's dog. And I was like, what? But yeah,
And and the
that
fact that
does
he came over to demand he pay him, it's just like, who? I was waiting for Octavio to be like, he took the longest time to say it. But it's just like, wait a minute, but you, who's like sick, blah 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 on my dog? Like, the dog's just chilling. Like, you're blaming me for your own foolishness. It's just like, how does that work? Look, go to my brother. I don't want anything to do with your brother. It's just like, because at that point, it didn't even seem like Octavio, it was really his dog. It seemed like it was his brother's dog. Obviously, you find out it's both their dogs, really. But
well, I
it's
found
just
that
like,
really interesting as like kind of a thing for their characters because you see Susanna lets it out, so it's clearly not her dog.
Mm.
And then Salvio, and he doesn't really bring it out. But then Ramiro comes back and he's like, "Oh, and where's my dog, by the way?" And then you have the little exchange where Octavio's like, "What do you mean your dog? I feed it." And instantly you kind of just go, "Oh, Ramiro's a fucking prick, and
Mm.
Octavio's kind of cool. He's the one who feeds the dog. Like, yeah, go on then." And like, I don't know. I feel like with Octavio, I kind of didn't like hate him. Like obviously he does like some horrible things, and he like really mistreats that dog, and like
yeah,
causes the death of all these other dogs. But like I, I don't know, he kind of just struck me as a bit stupid and a little
Yes,
bit selfish,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. Fucking hell.
rather than he had like a lot of
So,
malice in him. Like Ramiro seemed to have a lot of malice in him, and he seemed to um he only really related to people in ways that would suit him, or like ways that he could use, and it's yeah. He doesn't. It showcased by it. He doesn't really acknowledge Kofi until he realizes he can use him as like income, and he doesn't really
Yeah.
talk to Octavio until he's like, "Oh, do you have a joint?" Whereas Octavio seemed to actually like care about stuff, and I don't know. I found him quite compelling despite the fact he like yeah again was a piece of shit.
I feel
Yeah,
like for Octavio and Susanna, it's because they're both quite, well, I'll say quite young. I'm not quite sure because she's still in school, right? So I'm not quite sure what the ages are. I think they're supposed to be 18. I'm not sure, I guess. But it's just like because he is a bit stupid and like I would say love struck, but like because of all of his fucking stupidness and like all of the shit he did, it's at the beginning you could say it's because of his naivety and like shit that things happened the way that they did. But it was after Romano got shot and he said all that fucking stupid shit at the fucking funeral that made me so fucking infuriated with him. Then it was then after that he fucking waited at the bus stop. I was like, you fucking idiot. No one is fucking coming to this bus stop with you.
Yeah.
No one just you should fucking no. It
I
made
think-
me lose sympathy for him, I guess.
I think that's
You
the
know
nice thing as well. Like when you sort of start off, you're kind of just in his head, and you're just kind of going and like because he's going at 100 miles an hour, you're going at 100 miles an hour, and you're just like you kind of like just get a bit swept up in it, and then you just have like the longest time away from him. The next time you see him, is the funeral. And he said and he's just being a gigantic ass. And you're just like, shut up, Octavio. God damn it.
Yep.
Like Camilla
Let it
started
go,
watching.
man.
Camilla started watching this with me, and then the the violence against women and the kind of whole stuff around that in the beginning. She's like, you know what? Nah, I ain't watching this. You watch this by yourself. And I was just like, I don't even want to watch this now. This is hard. And yeah, Octavio, at first, when obviously he was defending her, I was just like, I like this. I like that you're trying to defend her. And then when he started forcing himself, I was like, that's it. I care nothing about you anymore. You're pissing me out of me. You keep doing this. What the is wrong with you? And then on top of that, he goes at the money and then keeps giving it to her. I'm just like, I don't think you understand what kind of situation you're putting her into. I don't think you understand. And then he keeps doing it. She's like, and eventually she's like, do you not get it? And he's just like, no, I do get it. It's just like,
Well, okay, Emmanuel. I would say this is also slightly, only over slightly, Susanna's fault as well, because she did say, instead of saying like this can't happen, she said the words, we can't do it like this. I don't know if that's like a translation in the Spanish. And I was like,
no, yeah.
and I
Yeah,
was like,
to be fair, Susanna does play like a part in kind of because like I agree how you kind of see it to be sexual assault, but like at the same time, he is very young, he's very passionate, he's very confused, and Susanna's not helping. That she should be shutting him down, like no nonsense. But
if
like,
she said this
she's
can't
saying
happen,
not like this, and he's like, oh, so I shall try a different way then, and it's like, no.
and she sleeps with him as well, which is not.
And she sleeps with him also.
I was like, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I just like fucking. There's like, I had a sympathy for it, but it's like no, because you were young and naive. Then she took the money. Then she actually took the money and ran off, and I was like,
yeah. The thing is,
go
no,
on.
carry on. No, you carry on.
And I was gonna say like,
not condoning, by the way.
But it was the moment where this is me being more mad at Octavio. It's the moment where she says, the baby's name's gonna be Romero, and I was like, that's it. That's you've lost any chance. There's no, just like fucking give up. Yeah. Then after this bus scene stopped, fucking idiot, you fucking idiot. It's like, yeah, but that's it. Go on.
Yeah. What they do is just sit there going like, you wasted your bus fare.
Yeah,
right. I was pretty much. I mean, it's like, it wasn't quite that. It was more like you wasted your time waiting for someone you know that it's not fucking gonna come. That's fucking. I just like, it made me angry at him because it's so fucking stupid. Like,
yeah. The thing is, I wasn't even that surprised at Susanna, because even though, yeah, she's done all those things, she's kind of got this. It's not Stockholm syndrome necessarily. Maybe survivor's guilt, or there's a word for it, but she's an abuse victim. But because of how crap her home upbringing was and her life was, this is like some semblance of, oh, sometimes it's okay. You know how you can be sometimes. And it's just so sad to watch. Like, this person is obviously being mistreated, but because there's so much crap, like in the whole picture and in her whole life, she's just like, she's trying to reason it out and be like, and what she really needed consistently was not just a friend in that situation in Octavio. She needed someone And obviously Octavio is not necessarily mature enough to give her what she needs. But she needed someone who could like whether she would change or not is up to her. But she needed someone to kind of empower her
Hmm.
to tell her what she actually does, keep telling her what she deserves, and not just saying like, "How can you do with that?" Because obviously Octavia was just like, "How can you do with that?" But she also needed to know like
It,
not
it is
necessarily how.
it is worth mentioning, like when I'm saying she's kind of leading him on also, like you said, she's kind of in need of like kind of I can't even say stability, but like someone just not screaming at her for no reason. And
Yeah,
like she doesn't necessarily have a way of trying to acknowledge that without it coming across as like you're coming on to someone. So like this is one of those things where there's two separate characters and like their motivations are making them behave in certain ways, but they're kind of reading each other a bit wrong.
yeah, and also like the thing is as well, like yeah, again, carrying on what I was saying, like she needed someone to kind of tell her what she should have
Mm.
on top of what shouldn't be happening to her, like what she should actually deserve, because her self-worth was rock bottom. And there, yes, she said not like this, but it kind of also proves that in her heart that she does in a way like that prospect, but she's got a family, she's got a partner and whatnot. She's already got this. Yes, if things really go up crap creek, whatever, there could be a chance. Yeah, it would be very low, but there could be a chance that she could go off with Octavio, but not that way. And it would only be one of those, look, don't stop your life for her. Carry on your life. And if you don't meet someone and she's like, you know what, I've had enough of this effing guy. Can we please just,
I
go
mean,
somewhere?
yes,
Which
what
is
you're saying
bad.
is absolutely correct, I guess. But it's the thing of that, it's like that's yes, because again, remember, you gotta remember, he is a young, stupid, passionate guy who paid people money to. I thought he was going to kill his brother, to be honest, right? I actually absolutely thought they paid him to go
Yeah.
just fucking end him. It's like, oh no, he just told him to beat him up very roughly, and it's like,
Mhm.
oh, actually, now that you said that about that whole thing about the cheating and stuff, that actually brings chapter 2 into very higher context because
Mhm.
that's kind of what happened, isn't it? Because there was the guy who had the family, then you had the person who cheated on them, and afterwards they had their stuff come back later because he was planning to leave his wife for her. Oh yeah, yeah, that's context to it. Yeah. Oh, you've added more context to this film. I might actually have to give it a better story rating. Fuck. Okay. All right. Let's
I
quickly
don't
change
I
that.
don't think I don't think that the second part of the story is useless. I don't think that it's bad necessarily, but it is definitely kind of like the weakest part. But I think this is when you're looking at kind of like this whole film comes out of Octavio's got in too deep. He thinks he's a gangster. He is not a gangster, and now his dog's got shot and he's trying to get away because he doesn't want to get killed.
Well, yeah, because he
And
stabbed
then
the other guy, right?
yeah, and then get caught in a car crash, and it's like, okay, so we're at an intersection between the poor and the rich, and it's like, okay, so what are the consequences of this? And when you go with the rich story, it's all right, Rob, giving your knees a good old shit. When you go with the rich story, the people who commodify this dog and who can't keep a fucking bouncy ball out of a giant hole in the floor, despite the fact their apartment's fucking massive. They don't. The whole thing is like kind of like the husband is so concerned about saving money that he neglects to save the dog when he can, and that's why his whole story ends in absolute misery. And that's it.
Yeah.
That's the so it's if you kind of start off in the middle, this is a guy commodifying his dog, and that's the consequences of him commodifying his dog. And these rich people also commodify their dog, and both of these stories end in misery. And then you have El Chivo, who doesn't, who's he's kind of like, you know, a big criminal, like criminal or not.
Yeah.
And he kind of walks between. He can kind of walk between rich and poor, because the whole fact that he looks poor and the whole fact he looks homeless is what allows him to move around the rich areas, because no one really looks at him, so no one can identify him, and that's kind of the genius kind of bit of it. But yeah, his dog, because he values these dogs, it's not about rich or poor. It's having empathy for like other lives and valuing other lives, and that's what. That doesn't come about unless Kofi kills all his dogs. So like these things all stem from Octavio's story, but it's having value for life that like allows you to not have a life that ends in misery.
Yeah, it's true. Because it's because of that dog. He's just like, if it wasn't for this dog, like, you'd be dead.
Yeah,
So,
precisely.
yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do with you. It's just like, man. And when he found out his half brother, I was like, nah, that takes a piss, because he wasn't even expecting it, which suggested that he didn't really actually do much of anything for his brother to actually be that kind of like, yeah, I want to get rid of him. His brother was just that cowardly and cutthroat that he wanted to take everything for himself. It's just like, you're willing to actually get him killed? That's messed up.
I mean, yeah, that's why he was like, "Oh, Abel, what did you do to get yourself like a cane or
Yes,
something?" Yeah, I was like, "Oh
exactly.
yeah,
Cain and Abel.
that was kind of smart writing for that." And I was like, also reflects the chapter 1 with Romano and Octavia. It's like, oh, bless you,
Thank you.
Bless you.
but don't bless the guys in the movie because they all kind of like deserve this fucking shit.
Oh,
Because like,
Fever is incriminating.
well, because like he was like, it was like, what did I do? Why? Who wants to kill me? I was like, he's like, it's that girl you're sleeping with. Martha? No, wait a second. She wouldn't want to kill me. Yes, but your wife does. Wait, my wife knows about my mistress? And I was like, no, it's not your wife. He goes, oh my god, is it my mistress's husband? You have plenty of people who want to fucking kill you. Fucking hell, I don't even. I could be fucking
what?
anyone.
She's
Right?
married?
It's like, oh fucking hell, this
I do like
fucking
that whole
story is
thing.
getting better.
That whole scene where he's just like, "You fucking people, Jesus Christ!"
It's like, man, it's like, yeah, you are an idiot. What are you doing?
It's such
Yeah,
like a it's such like a Simpsons scenario, because like you can see Homer saying it and then just like having flashbacks to all the people he's wronged.
Oh man. On reflection, with his story, the homeless guy story, it also kind of it makes me want to know more about the situation around like the guerrilla warfare kind of stuff that was going on in the past. Like, obviously, he felt that because they don't paint it, they paint it too simply, but obviously, it must have been so bad that he felt that maybe there'd be no like future for his family. So he went off to fight, but obviously it failed and he got arrested. But
Like he
wonder
got
if
arrested for letting off a bomb in a mall, and yeah, I know.
Oh, that was it. Yes, he
killing
became the
cops.
terrorist.
Didn't he get caught in a bathroom where where the other police officer?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, yeah, I was just in the bathroom taking a piss, and he came in, I arrested him. I was like, you're not. It's just like that's a bit weird because, like, yeah, I don't think they explained like the reason he had to become a guerrilla fighter, or like,
No, they don't.
It's maybe he lost sympathy for it, I guess, if he did.
Other than he says like when he's like recording onto her answering machine, he's like, I thought I could make a better life for you two. And obviously I didn't succeed. But yeah, other than that, nothing. All right.
Who's got hiccups?
Me.
Do you not think that Octavio's mate looks like? I think Octavio's mate looks like Rob. I shall find a picture.
What with the weird pink hair?
Yeah.
Like that weird, no, I feel like it's like that guy in like,
no.
No, to be fair, if I was from Guadalajara, I can see it.
I know you could remember. He reminds me of one of the James Bond villains, like the hacker dude in, like, I think GoldenEye or something. And I was like, oh right, yeah. I think it was like the Russian guy. He was like, I am invincible, and I was like, yeah, that's how he reminds you of.
Who reminds you of him?
Octavio's mate that with the pink hair. I thought it reminds me
Huh,
of like
huh.
the hacker dude from
That's funny.
GoldenEye. Yeah, that's about it.
It was making me, I say laugh, but also be like, oh, there's someone who has a little sense in this. Like near the start of the film and also later, it's like, why did you mess with him? Why did you mess with blah blah blah? He's just yelling in the car. Just like, that's just I didn't do nothing. Like, what you mean you do nothing?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that was to be honest, right? It was a point of like needing to stop, that he didn't need to continue doing dogfights, because even the ring master guy was like, I paid you to do like 9 fights, right? You've done about 15 already, so it's like, oh, we're good, man. Because he was smart enough to go, I've made enough money, and I don't need to make more money than I really need. I have a steady income already, so you can do it if you want, right? And I guess I'll help like sponsor the area, but like, you're on your own. He could have, if he stopped, because as Octavia was like, yeah, one last fight, and I was like,
that pissed me off.
yeah, that's like,
as soon as he, because the thing is, this guy is slimy. As soon as he was just like, yeah, like I ain't in this no more. You want to do it, you're on your own. I was just like, nah, there's too much that's fishy with that. That ain't right.
That's always the one where it goes wrong, isn't it? It's just like
even the slimy ringmaster guy was like, you've had enough.
As soon as you're about
right?
to say one more fight, just go, hang on, actually, maybe I have to stop there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, please don't. Obviously, it's how it's gonna go down, and he does it. I'm just like, oh, for goodness sakes! And like, for all I know, like the ringmaster could be in on it with the other guy. Who knows? I was just like, just leave. You've had enough. But he's done. He's got a taste of the high life. He's greedy. I say high life. Most of the money actually just went to Susanna.
The highest life he knows.
Buying the car, which was still something great, but even that's attracting a lot of attention in a neighborhood like that. Anyway, just
Oh yeah, I think you posted something like that, because during the pesos was like, oh, I couldn't quite get how much money that was. Then you said, after you said, yeah, it's like 15,000 pesos for that car. I was like, how much? And you said that's about 600 quid. I was like, huh? Really? That was just like, I just couldn't do the comparison. So when you said that, I was like, that's not much money at all. I don't know. It felt like It didn't seem like, oh, I guess inflation and everything, but like, it's still not a lot of money.
Yeah, for us, like it's nothing, but over there, it would be a lot of money, especially for someone at his standing. If he, like someone working minimum wage, that would take them years to get enough money to buy a car like that. So him buying a car like that, he really was just like, yeah, I'm balling, and then showing off. Like he in a neighborhood like that, he was asking to get robbed.
Yeah, but like, you remember one of the people who was doing the sorry, who was stealing shit from people was his brother, and that's why he was.
Yeah, people wouldn't necessarily mess with him because they in the neighborhood they knew he was crazy. His brother was crazy. So you got a good point. He can't. He felt like people wouldn't touch him.
It was only afterwards when his brother was pointing the gun at Cliffy, and it was like, "I'm going to empty your piggy bank." I was like, "You fucking scum!"
Yeah.
Piece of shit. Piece of shit. Absolutely deserved. But yeah, that's it's so hot, and I feel like everyone else is like dying of heat strokes. Do you want to do favorite scenes, or is there anything else that you want to talk about?
Favorite scene where all the dog dies.
Oh,
Or not even the burning scene afterwards, like just when the dogs are dead. Yeah.
Oh, that's the second favorite scene. Is the death of that man. Seriously though, even though even though it's so horrible, I think the most effective scene is like in the third part of the story where what's his name? Forget his name.
Chivo.
Where he's like bringing the dog in and just introducing it to the rest of all the strays he's kind of like got under his wing, and he instantly know what kind of a character he is. He's just this guy that looks after his all the stray dogs that come into his in his life, and you just know he is just like a pure soul. He's just like a wonderful man that just like he cares more about dogs than humans, basically. And
he's like Santa.
Yeah, you can't really fault him from that. But it's like, and then
can't really fault him apart from all the murder.
Yeah, apart from that, but the whole dog scene where he's like, and he leaves the home and he shuts the door, and then the dogs are left to their own devices, and he comes back and they're all literally dead or on the verge of death, and it's like he comes so close to like shooting that the one that did it, Coffee, and it's like you can feel his mind just ticking away, and you understand his conflict in his head. There's like, I can't really blame the dog for what it did because that's how it's trained to be, and that's so important and so it's so vital to remember that why a dog like that would do something like that. And so I think it's quite powerful that he keeps it, and the final scene where he just walks off basically in the metaphorical sunset with that dog just going off into the next chapter of their life. And so it's just so interesting about him as a character, and it tells you everything about him that you need to know. But he understands fundamentally that dogs aren't to blame, people are. But he's gonna like, look, you're the last dog left. I'm gonna look after you. You're basically my son now, and we shall make a better life for ourselves together.
You are my son, and I am Santa.
He gives him. Oh, is this okay? I want to ask for the like translations, like for it. His name is Kofi, right? Like coffee.
Oh, good.
Or
Cofi.
Yeah, coffee. Yeah,
like he's coffee. I was like, then afterwards he calls him. The guy. I was like, what's his name? He's
no.
Yeah, but I was like, oh, he's just black coffee. So I was like, oh, okay, so he's an espresso. Oh, I was thinking, I just kept thinking, is he just coffee? Okay,
he's a strong espresso.
He's an Americano.
It's Americano. Okay, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
we
yeah,
killed all the frappuccinos, so he's the only one left.
You know, that's not where I thought that was going.
Okay, okay.
I was
Yeah.
just imagining when you was talking. I was just imagining him being one of John Wick's teachers. And math teachers, just like, you need to have a dog. This is also how you kill people.
Why must you ruin everything?
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Shit was it? Okay. Favorite scenes. Oh, favorite scene. Well, I've got two. Okay. One is just because I found it incredibly funny because of just like the like atmosphere. Is when El Chivo went to the photo booth and got like the pictures. I was like, weird. Then he slicked the back of it and he stuck his face on where the stepdad's face is in the family picture. I just
Yeah.
something about that was like, oh, that's so fucking sad, but somehow kind of sweet. I was like, weird, right? It's like, yeah, it's like that was like something great. That was something fucking hilarious. I thought that's great. The actual favorite scene because it gives the whole movie that like sort of like final chef's kiss mwah feeling.
Sorry, I
is
do
when-
like the idea you're just watching that whole scene where you're going like, it's very sad, and he licks the stamp, puts on the photograph, and you're going like, it's so funny because he's alone.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Like,
yes.
fuck you, man. That's horrible.
Well,
And then kind of
My
creepy
favorite-
when he puts it back.
Mm.
yeah,
Seaton.
okay. But my favorite scene, because it gives like the emphasis of the whole film, like it's sort of characteristic, is where she was just driving along in that SUV, but you see the enchanted poster actually coming down as he's driving away, and I was like, yes, that ties that fucking bow for the whole gift, and that makes it fucking amazing because that's like it brings all the stories sort of like together again at like because the stories repeat again in the beginning of the chapters where it repeats, oh, why did you shoot the dog? And after she crashed, then second chapter is like she's going, then it's back to then after it repeats itself 3 times the beginning. But that's where the story kind of like has that final finishing touch of an ending. And I thought that was amazing because that gives it like perfect ending level. And that's like perfect. That's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Yes. Sorry, I'm just tired. It's like I had to try and jog my memory of what you just said, even though I heard what you just said. And I was
Okay.
just like, oh yeah, when they bring the poster down, yes, that is a yes.
Yes.
I don't remember all the rest of it, but
What about you
sorry,
guys?
what was the main thing you liked about that scene again, Simon? Sorry.
Because it helps. It's like it's like the end, like writing the end for the movie. It's like if it ties up everyone's stories. It ties up him with the dog because of Octavio in chapter 1. It ends chapter 2's one with her actual see the actual poster coming down and as it was ending essentially. Then it's ending with chapter 3 because it's him with El Chivo himself driving off, and I was like, yeah, great ending. Well, it wasn't quite the ending, but it like was like a full stop for all the chapters, and I was like, great, yeah. Yeah. You're like,
Oh yeah, I get it now. Thank you very much.
okay.
I really
Okay.
appreciate it.
Oh, fucking all right. How about you? How about you guys? You guys got some favorite scenes?
Uh,
It's
Yeah,
probably
I
a few.
Hmm?
Carry on, Alec. I say it's probably a few. But carry on, Alec.
okay. Yeah, I do think it's when they come back and tell him that Kofi's killed Pancho. That's what I was going to stick in my mind. I was just like, oh yeah, nice. That's just kind of the big inciting incident of all of this. But yeah, just I don't know. I think it's possibly like everything coming after El Chivo. Like, I guess El Chivo's like kind of transformation. I suppose like when he decides he's gonna take the beard off and just kind of tidy himself up and stuff like that, and he doesn't even recognize himself anymore, and he's just kind of shedding all like this baggage and everything. I think that's really neat, and I love that. Like the thing that kind of spurred it on was deciding to kind of like shut these two dickheads in a room together to kind of like fight it out because he's not having a part in it anymore. I think that's all really, really cool.
And you took the money.
Hmm?
And you took the money.
And he took the money.
Like, yeah, come, pay me. Okay, here's your brother.
Oh yeah, he also
that's
took
it.
Octavio's money as well, didn't he?
Yes, he took all their money.
He took their money and he gave it to his daughter. But that goes to show if you treat dogs right, you wind up with everybody's money.
Yeah.
And
one guy's and Octavio's wallet. Oh yeah, that was the other like Quentin Tarantino sort of scene that made me go annoyed because it was like
because it had a wallet.
No, it's because it's like the bad motherfucker wallet, right? But it was like, this is not a bad motherfucker's wallet. It's got like fucking little heart stickers, pictures of like the dog and him cut out together. And I was like, this is not a bad motherfucker's wallet. This is a fucking kid's wallet.
This is not a bad motherfucker wallet. This is a this is a little Gaylord wallet I've ever seen.
Oh man.
Bless.
Yeah. But sorry, Alec, were you still talking? I didn't want to interrupt.
That's what. Jesus, what's wrong with you?
Are you okay? Are you okay, Sophie? Okay, he seems okay.
He didn't respond or move.
Sorry, what? I did. I heard someone sneeze. Then I think my Wi-Fi cut out for a second.
Rob did a hiccup. Emmanuel went, "Are you all right?" And then Rob just didn't respond in any way. And he went, "Yeah, he seems fine."
Oh, weird.
I didn't know that was Rob.
Never actually have anything wrong with you, please. We're not equipped for it.
I think Rob's alive. Let's put a mirror under his nose to see if he's still breathing. That's by the way, that's a reference to an old film with a dog, old family film. Like the film where the dog would usually say "so still." They'd have to put a mirror under its nose to see if it gets condensation on it, just to see if the dog's alive. It's also the same film where they move into a house. Sorry, this is quite an aside, but it's got a dog in it, and it's a great fun family film. If they move into a house, I can't remember the name of it, but they said, "Oh, we're taking everything, yeah." So you think, "Oh, it's unfurnished." Yeah, that's fine. No, we're taking everything. Like, yeah, that's fine. They come in. They took the doors. They took all of the paint. They took the pool. They took everything.
Okay, taking the paint is a bit extreme. That's kind of funny, actually. Yeah.
They took the windows. It was like half built. It was just like, what the happened? He said, "I told you we're taking everything." Anyway, it's a funny film. Maybe I should pick it one day. A good film with a cool dog. The dog's not the center of it. Anyway, sorry, what was I trying to say? Favorite scenes, yes. This Alex barely holding it together.
Sorry. Rob is just throwing me off big time. What was I going to say?
Okay, Rob. Okay, he's smiling. That's good. Um, what you call it? So when Octavia is waiting at the bus stop, and I'm just like, good, you freaking idiot. No one's coming for you. I run up on a random note. The bus driver was his dad, his actual dad. There's this guy's dad to play the bus driver. But anyway, but yeah, I was like, yes, good. No one's coming for you. Just go to home. Or go to your cousins. I don't care. Just stop this
Did Rob
nonsense.
just die?
Are you asleep, Rob?
He's out of it. Yeah.
He's trying to stay awake. He's
Can
like
you
me.
call me an attention seeker?
Who's the host?
Rob.
Oh god damn it.
No, Rob, put Pat as the host, please.
Yeah.
Don't do this.
He's conscious. I could.
I like how we're going, is he dead? And I'm just like, oh, make sure that someone else is the host, though. That's the immediate.
Oh yeah, Rachel, are you the host? Thanks. Cool.
Rob's mom, please. We'll send you lots of nice gin. Or maybe you have to give treat sausages to Pinky.
What have you
to-
eaten to
to
have
the dog.
this happen?
You just drink a Coke and you just got hiccups from a Coke or something, right?
Rob, change the host. Change the host.
Oh yeah, you just drink a Coke. What the fuck?
No, Coke is not the host.
The host! They're in my eyes! The hosts are my eyes!
This is where Alec becomes the host and he falls asleep.
I'm not going to fall asleep. I've been drinking water all night.
I don't trust Alec to not fall asleep.
Fuck off.
All right.
I'm sober as.
I trust Simon and Pat and Manuel more than Alec.
I'm
Oh,
sober.
good.
Maybe Manuel less than Pat and Alec. Simon, but
Right, I'm falling asleep.
Okay.
Like, matter of principle now.
Rob, you all right? Yeah, just
I
go.
think I'm all right now. I think it's
Okay.
past. But
Okay.
that was really tiring few minutes.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it was the way you kind of had your arm out, like you had died.
Yeah,
Really,
you,
really
yeah,
sold that.
you definitely had a Jesus Christ up to you. You were like,
I hate hiccups so much, man. Like it's just, and when I get them, they just stay.
They fuck you over.
oh man.
I didn't think
Hey, Red.
anyone could get like that pass out through hiccups.
I didn't pass out. At least I don't think I did. I hope I didn't, because that's probably like quite serious.
well, I mean, if you look at the video, it probably, I mean, yeah, you look back at it, it looks like you passed out. We were quite concerned.
Oh, I was holding my breath for a long time to try and get rid of them.
No,
Oh.
don't pass out because you're holding your breath. Fucking hell. It's like a whole fucking situation now. Oi.
Oh man. But we're glad you're
Oh.
okay. Right. After a film like we just had. And then just to add on kind of like what I think you said, Alec, the kind of last two of the last scenes where the Chivo just leaves them to it, the two brothers, and then at the end where he's kind of walking off, like leaving all that stuff behind. It's like, yeah, it's good. I did on a side note, I was like happy when he finally bothered to try and find the dog. I was so worried for that dog that whole time. I was like, the dog is just he's done. And he didn't even care. He like this oh my goodness. These two people these are This sucks. But
I think
anyway,
I think your quote there basically sums up my whole experience with this film. I was so worried about that dog.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, those were my favorites. Yeah, I have plenty of really annoying ones, but yeah. Anyway,
But if I hear Richie one more fucking time, I'm gonna lose it.
I
Richie.
do. I
Nah,
can't.
nah. Turned out it's
I
quite
can't.
tame.
I can't even blame her because at that point, Richie was all she had left to cling to sanity. She basically she ran away from home. She's had some crappy family problems. She finally had things going well, and then she pretty much lost her. Seems like she's lost her career. And like the one thing besides this kind of dick of a person who she's cheated on, who ain't treated her right, she's got. Well, actually, he was trying to treat her right, but anyway. And then it's just like the dog, like she doesn't even have the dog no more. It's just like she's just left by herself.
She definitely doesn't
No,
have the dog anymore. She fucking fed him chocolate. And that was when
For
when he
fuck's sake, there's dog chocolate. Dog
those were
chocolate
fucking
exists.
okay,
the-
but they gave him Hershey's Kisses, which looks like
yeah,
it, and that was like there's literally when a dog is about to be put down, there's literally a thing where vets go, this is it's called the kiss goodbye. They gave them a chocolate Hershey kiss before they put them
really.
down. That's literally yeah.
Oh,
And that's like it's called a kiss goodbye, and it's like that's fucking sad as shit. I was like, oh,
oh,
but that's
That's
like it's kind of sweet.
that's like a genuine thing where vets have like drawers full of them, and like if your dog's about to be put down, you can just take a handful so that they can like go out on a high.
no,
Yeah.
that's that's just next level. That's why that's also why I was so worried. I was just like, even if this dog comes here and you say he loves chocolate, like, dude,
You
what's
shouldn't
wrong
eat it.
with you? Like, are you trying to actually, like, imagine the dog actually gets back, but dies because he actually made it to the bowl to eat the chocolate he left for it. Like, how take the absolute piss? Just like, what are you doing? Like,
I
you
mean that
really could care less.
well, I mean he does I mean I guess he does care because of all the things that he's done, but it's just like it would have been the much more added tragic to it, I guess. It would have been a bit too tragic because you see the dead dog, lost leg, poster's gone. It's just like the ultimate trifecta of fucking hell, what is left for me? Because like that would have been like, holy shit, that's
And
fucking depressing.
he would have brought that upon himself too. But again, at least at the end, yes, she was so desperate, like you said. She was just like, I've got like nothing left. This has happened. This has happened. What is my life? Wait, I hear the dog. I'm gonna do this one thing. You better be alive. Yes, yes. And the dog looks all healthy the next scene. It's like, oh great.
Doing CPR.
It's been
Live.
starving for I don't know how it was still alive. It was starving for how long? With no water or food and rats gnawing at it. Like that's a miracle. It's also a film. But,
Anyone else for favorite scenes or I don't know who hasn't done a favorite scene.
I
Yeah,
haven't, but I
trickier
can't
than
really
it
think of.
looks.
Okay, fair enough.
what's the scene you dislike the most?
Oh, let me get the notebook out.
No, nobody's picked that one.
Yeah,
It's
I was just about to say that's not your next pick, is
a
it?
good thing, isn't it?
I was
To be
like, John's
fair,
back now, so
I actually quite like the notebook. I'm not ashamed.
If I was to pick a romance film, actually, have I picked a romance film? Kinda.
You picked
Maybe
Love
Twisted.
Exposure.
Yes, I did. I also picked Antichrist. That was the Twisted romance film. I was gonna say it's a more kind of classic romance film, but a sad one. If I picked one, which I won't pick this because I don't want to watch it again, is One Day. It's
One
actually
day. I think I
yeah,
might have seen that.
it's based off a book. It actually had me crying, leaving the cinema crying. I was like, that was so sad. It's like yeah, it's obviously it's not a rom-com, it's a romance film. But it's just like, oh man, that was pretty good. That was
Like
pretty
I
good.
have to pick something either Japanese or Korean just to add like the extra tensions and dramas there. There was just some really fucking good romance films, I guess. But let's not get
I
into
mean,
that again.
yeah,
So,
I could pick a mini series that made me cry.
Oh
No.
boy,
but anyways,
10 out of 10
Pat,
from Ben straight away.
yeah.
Purpose 10.
fucking love a mini.
What's the matter, Simon?
Ooh,
So no, Pat, what was your? I mean, like, what scene made you go? That was like the most. What was the scene of most interest to you, at least?
They are one and the same.
The first dogfighting scene, I think, sort of. Yeah, I'd probably say that was the tone setter.
mm,
And as bad as they were, like shit, that felt like I got shot myself. I couldn't.
mm,
Something like that.
yeah, that makes sense.
Just trying to think. What's that say? Things I did like because the stuff with the old man was um the fact that he sort of locked up the two brothers and then decided, you know what, have a shave, cut my hair, have a shower, and then fuck off.
That was brilliantly put.
Yeah, literally. Like when he came back into the room, the guy was looking at him like, who the you? Like, you have the same voice, but what happened? Or the part where he's like agua and something or rum. It's just like he said, I want my answers. Agua, leche, and rum.
Oh yeah, yeah. Water, milk, or rum. That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did any of you think that when sort of groomed himself at the end of the film that he looked a bit like Donald Sutherland?
Yeah, I do see that actually. There was someone else who I thought he looked like as well at some point.
Who?
There was someone else who I thought he looked like, but I can't think who now. Oh, there was a few angles where I thought he looked like Javier Bardem.
Who's that?
Or
Oh.
Thor in Goodnight, Mr. Tom?
Bloody hell! Good night, Mr. Tom. That is a reference I did not think we'd have in film club.
Good night, Mr. Tom.
I might pick that, you know. That was a great film back in the day.
I have
My
no
mum's
idea
got it
what
on
this is.
VHS.
Oh,
I
man.
I was in like junior school
You still
many
have a
moons
VHS.
ago.
You should still have a VHS player. Oh, Rob, you should still have a VHS player.
No, well, we do have one. I don't know if it works or not. It'd be nice if it did.
You could probably upscale it to 4K using software now.
To be honest, like there's a few old VHS tapes that I'd like to do that with, but It's like finding the people to do it without having to post it off.
Oh, you can do it yourself.
Yeah, but then I have to like buy stuff.
It'd
Buying
probably
stuff.
be cheaper than paying someone to do it.
Do you reckon?
Yeah,
Oh, I
because
need to look into this more if that's the
you
case.
you just need one thing that it's like phono cables that goes to USB pretty much with a little.
Yeah, but that's like a
charger.
whole thing, and when you gotta like get like the equipment, then you gotta like patch it together and like put it into a computer. No,
No, it's just like some little. It looks like a cassette player almost in the middle, and you got some phono cables and a USB. Like it's advanced quite a lot now. It's really easy, and then you just use some software in your computer. It's done.
Man, that's amazing. You can get this stuff for like 30 quid now.
Yeah, it used to be much harder and more expensive, but recently it's become more accessible.
That's awesome. I might do this.
Yeah, the power of AI really helps as well.
Someone old Alec back.
Don't worry, Alec. Actually, I don't know how we're going to get him the next film. Anyway, carry on.
You know what? AI is such a contentious subject that I ended up on the same side as Boris Johnson earlier.
Wow.
Oh no.
Whoa.
Because somebody
What?
posted something on Twitter that was like, "Oh, Boris Johnson's first article for the Daily Mail has been proved as being AI written," and I was like, "You can't prove that. Like that's still like yeah." And I really doubt that Boris Johnson would think to get an AI to write his article.
that's
I bet it would.
I
If
just
he
don't
could
think
get-
it's something that he'd think of. Like I don't know if it's something that
Yeah.
he'd even be aware of. Like,
If we could get AI to have made his entire speeches,
it's just, I don't know. Like it's one of those things where like it's already such a like big thing where if you use AI to check if something is AI written, more often than not, it will tell you it is, even if it's not. And so
Mhm.
I don't know. Like yeah, I'm really uncomfortable that I've ended up on the side of Boris Johnson, basically.
If
Well,
it
no, I
helps,
mean, you might as well just say, I can't believe I'm agreeing with someone who writes for the Daily Mail. That's just like, if you want to
Yeah,
write
and
an
that.
idea.
No, not even just Boris Johnson. Boris Johnson in his worst form. Boris Johnson as a Daily Mail writer. Like,
That's hilarious.
it's the worst of every possible scenario.
We're in the
Sent from Daily
darkest
Mail.
timeline now. Fucking hell.
Yeah, when I
Okay.
saw that, I was like, if
All
it
right.
makes you feel any better, though it probably doubt it would, and it wouldn't make Alec feel any better. But Apple as well don't like to associate themselves with AI, AR, or VR. So
I thought they would. Well, aren't they bringing out like a whole AR thing?
Yeah, they're definitely got to do AR because the glasses are like fucking $2,000 something, right? And it's just like,
Like 3.5.
The new
So-
VR
so-
headset.
So whenever something on their phone is related to AI, they call it machine learning and transformer
oh,
models.
fuck off.
And
Absolutely
transformer
fuck off with that.
models, which technically they actually are because they're not making AI. AI is just a term that gets flung around for things that aren't AI. Anyway, and then if the AR and VR glasses or goggles, they say spatial computing.
Spatial
Motherfuckers, you
computing.
might as well fucking go into fucking Gundam universe. It's called the fucking Zero System, yeah? They've fucking like got the fucking robots to go where they're fighting the robots, and they've got the robots can think like a person, and it's like, yes, this robot can tell what your robot's gonna do, so it can plan to use the lightsaber in this way. You went into fucking sci-fi robot world now. What fucking bollocks?
Sounds like somebody just pulled a string in your back.
No, because like I like sci-fi. Well, this is the sci-fi that's not magic. It's the sci-fi that makes that sci-fi-ish, right? Because it's big giant robots. It's not magic. It's just thermal nuclear stuff, right? But it gets a bit too twisted when you go, don't push that level of like technology or it becomes sci-fi magic again. It's just say it's computers. Just say it's computers, and you'll be fine. But if that's that level of your machine learning is pushing fucking sci-fi magic, and it fucking annoys me to a point. Anyways, no, I don't like that because that's almost realistic enough that we can actually get fucking Gundams. And if we can get Gundams, I want to be a fucking Gundam player. Okay. I want to be the person who pilots the fucking giant mechs and kills millions of people per shot. And it's like it's a whole fucking situation with Gundams, and it's like it's depressing as well. And it's like it's a whole.
Wait. Sorry, I know we're going to aside. Do you know what the equivalent of the metaverse is?
What?
Environments.
Might as well just said colonies. Fuck! Oh, it really is Gundam. Oh shit, we've entered Gundam world now. Cool. Okay, we need a bunch of fucking teenagers to pilot giant mechs and kill everyone. Cool. Congratulations, everyone. Fucking congratulations. We fucked up.
These fucking Chinese cartoons.
I don't usually care that much, but I just want them to ruin Mark Zuckerberg. To be frankly honest, seriously, such a trash of a guy. Anyways,
any ending comments for this film?
Oh, I forgot we watched a film.
Wait. Oh yeah, Ben already said his favorite scene, didn't he? Sorry, I'm being tickled.
It's good.
My ending kind of comment, if I can make it. Let me talk.
Jesus Christ.
I didn't kick you. Or if I did, it was an accident. I didn't expect that. Sorry, I didn't expect that this would be what it was. But I am glad I picked it. Sorry, Pat. I didn't. Obviously, I didn't realize it would. I get like I think I get on some level how you feel, kind of like how I feel with certain films. How certain things are just like I can't watch this. But thank you for sticking through it. But yeah, it was interesting, and it was his first proper film, wasn't it?
Yeah, I
First
think you're
feature
right.
film.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And it's good.
Yeah, it was cool. What were the other Mexican films we had?
Devil's Backbone,
No, that's set in Spain.
but it is Mexican though.
No, but it's Spanish actually.
But it is Mexican. It was produced by Mexicans.
I don't give a fuck. It's set Spain.
Well, Pan's Labyrinth as well, but it's the same situation.
It's set in Spain.
It's made by Mexicans.
Your mum's Mexican.
She might be. We've never spoken about it.
Okay, the director of this, where is he from?
Mexico.
Okay, he okay. I was going to say, wait, is he from Spain? in Mexico. Okay, cool. So it's contentious whether we actually had a Mexican film before.
We have.
I'm pretty sure you have films that have been set in Mexico.
We've had
we've got to fucking check now. Jesus Christ!
But this is the first film set in Mexico.
Yeah,
it says
that's fair.
It says right next to Spanish.
That's the language.
Oh yeah, you're right.
I would like to say though, in this film they're actually speaking Espanol, where in the other films they're probably speaking Castellano.
Yeah. Stick that in your fucking pipe.
I don't know what it is.
It's one of those kind of like funny, contentious points between like Spanish in South America and Spanish in like Europe, and how a lot of times you have people joke that the Spanish from Europe is the proper Spanish. But then the
Actually,
South Americans will be like, but you have a
that's kind of interesting, actually, because now you've got a Spanish film and a Mexican film. But also, your Spanish film was led by a Mexican film.
But yeah, it's just one of those kind of interesting things between like yeah, European Spanish and South American. Just
But-
like yeah, our Spanish
well-
is better.
Wait. Of course we've had a Spanish film. You fucking had Coco. That's fucking Mexican, right? And so that's obviously
Well,
Mexican. It's
That's technically American.
fuck off. Okay.
But
Okay.
I think the director might have been Mexican, to be fair.
Oh, very great word. Anyway, yeah, let's yeah, we're cool.
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 We can pick some other nations we haven't picked before yet.
Yeah. Like Ghana. They'll have a good.
Do you
Good
know
film.
what? There's a bit of a movement online, and it's like appreciating Ghanaian film posters because basically
Oh.
before Ghana had like printing technology, they just used to paint their own posters for films, and some of them are perfect.
I think you've posted some of these
Nice.
before. I think we've seen some of the really weird posters. Okay. Well, oh
Oh
wait,
yeah, they have Gollywood.
Gollywood?
You know, like Nollywood.
Oh no.
You have Nollywood, Gollywood, Bollywood, Tollywood, all the woods.
So to give you a flavour of these Ghanaian posters, I've just posted the Godfather one in the chat.
Oh, there's a good peek.
Let me look at this. Why don't we go back to the
that's surprisingly brilliant. So right,
Oh, I gotta show this to Camilla. Is it?
okay.
This is the Ghana poster of Godfather painted.
What is the top? Is it a horse? What am I looking at?
My personal
Oh,
favourite
God.
one though is this one. This is the one for Mrs. Doubtfire.
Is the camera on?
No.
That is one of the most bizarre looking things I've ever seen.
So you haven't seen the Mrs. Doubtfire one yet.
Oh man. Oh, what the crap? This is not representative of the film.
Who's
Yeah, I
the
mean,
bloke?
like,
He's what, sorry?
Who's the bloke with the giant fucking
This is Mrs. Doubtfire.
disfigured arm?
But this is the thing though,
Hmm?
like to be fair to them, they had to paint these posters before seeing the films.
Yeah, I don't remember someone getting stabbed through the eye. Did someone get stabbed through the eye?
No.
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 Which, I mean, like, you know, I appreciate how wild a guess it was.
I
I
think
love
they've-
that somebody read the synopsis of Mrs. Doubtfire and went, that seems like a film where somebody gets stabbed in the eye.
it's going to be like Home Alone, but worse.
Maybe. You can't tell me it doesn't.
Oh man.
all right.
Um,
So, were there any other like final thoughts or final talking points that we need to say for this film,
love all dogs.
Yes.
except for Chihuahuas?
Yeah,
Oh, thanks, half Chihuahua.
That is fair.
Chihuahuas are like the spawn of like Cerberus, I guess. It's just like fucking hell. There's some
Don't.
devil dogs. No, Cerberus
Don't.
is actually quite nice compared to Chihuahuas. Actually,
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm saying don't insult Cerberus.
yeah. Spot is
Chihuahua-
actually not a guide. Yeah,
Chihuahuas are little rodent dogs that need to be stepped on.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. That's just
Gently.
too much hate.
Just gently, just stop it.
What?
Not like actual
I-
steps.
I-
Like
I
just
don't-
just a little tap. Just a little.
I
Shut
don't
up.
condone this. No animals were hurt in the making of this.
No, just a
film.
little. Just a little tap. Like shut up.
I mean, you could just give it treats.
Why would I give it treats for being a
Yeah.
yappy little shit?
It would just make it energetic and violent. So I don't know. I don't think I agree
That's
with
a
that.
terrible idea.
Any case, so is there any other points in this film?
No, Simon, go on.
All right, it was my choice next. So my film, I actually had. I think most people knew what I was going to pick anyways because I talked about from like beforehand. So finally, we're going back to Hong Kong cinema. We're going to watch You Shoot, I Shoot. It's going to be it's the dark comedy that is unfortunately on Apple TV or untranslated on YouTube. It's the
Well,
whole
it is
reason
translated on YouTube, to be
So,
fair. It's just in
useless.
Spanish.
unsubtitled on YouTube. Yeah.
Great.
Cool.
But yeah, You Shoot, I Shoot. It's dark comedy about a guy who's like a hitman who's like running out of money and he needs to find more better paying jobs essentially. So
Oh,
yeah, so we're
Dog
gonna watch,
fighting.
well, no,
No.
okay,
It's about time we went back to Hong Kong.
yeah, this is like
mhm.
there's too many there have been too many more serious films for the last few weeks. There's something way less serious than it. So it's like, yeah, it's great.
I love
So-
that, like, even our light relief though is about an assassin who's struggling for work.
I mean, previously, our light relief was Terminator.
Which is kind of an assassin struggling for work.
I mean, you're not wrong, I guess. But like, well, that's a big way to think about it, I guess. Okay.
Assassin who can't actually kill his target.
All right. So
That's true. Thanks, Simon.
You shoot, I shoot. Yeah, well, that would be our next film.
Right.
It's-
Well, I'm gonna learn Spanish, so I don't have to download Apple fucking TV.
I'm very
gonna
much
say this-
looking forward to this.
There's probably a way.
To learn Spanish. Yeah.
No.
Oh.
You could, though it would be very janky. You could just use Google Translate. Hold your phone up to the TV like this.
That is
and
literally
just
what
have it
I'm gonna do.
live translate it.
That is-
constantly.
That is
Live.
100% what I'm going to do.
Oh man. Well, good luck. Hope it goes well.
Right.
That's up to you.
Okay. All right. You go to sleep because I feel like you're gonna get heat stroke in a second because I'm just tired.
Or Alec, you could use mine or any one of our logins.
No, I'm not going to use Apple TV. Thank you, though.
Oh, this is going to be a fun week.
You could buy the DVD. You might get there in time.
No, I'm fine. I don't want to give money to people who are distributing their film through Apple TV. They've made their bed.
Oh, very true. All right, see y'all.
See you later.
See you guys in a bit.
Bye, guys.